Welcome to the Hooch, where the only place more messed up than your hosts is the barracks on a Friday night or the VA. So get ready to stand by for your weekly dose of toilet humor and shenanigans from your fellow veterans, Coy Mack and Michael Grizzled Grunt Harris.
Hey, and welcome back to the Hooch, everybody. You got Coy Mack here and Michael Harris. Yeah, we've been really bad to you guys about not doing this every week. It's been more like 2 weeks, so we'll try to do better at that. But it's just been really tiring, honestly, with all this stuff. Because like I wake up every day, I get on Facebook, and it's always, hey, guess what? Something else is burning. It's like 2020 is like I said on the post earlier on Sunday, because this is going to come out Monday, but all I want for Christmas for 2020 is for everybody to stop being assholes. Just everybody just stop being dicks, please, for the love of God.
Impossible.
Stop being dicks.
It's an election year, and people are going to continue to be assholes, and they're going to continue to treat each other like crap based off of political ideology. And as long as Trump's in office, man, it's going to get worse. You know, he's going to get reelected. So next year, just imagine what's going to happen.
There's already people saying that no matter who wins, like we're already in the middle of a civil war. If none of you have guessed it, we are in the middle of a civil war, and it's a civil conflict. If you even don't want to call it a civil war, it's a civil conflict, and that's exactly what we're in right now.
Exactly.
We're going to cover Kenosha pretty in-depthly today, and then we're going to talk about a few other things. But first, I want to actually start off with a really funny story. I've been reading this kind of like a Chinese kung fu like story for a while. It's actually pretty fun and awesome. But there's something I didn't know. I like looking up stuff I don't know, and I don't know how to pronounce whatever the hell this thing is. It's like a pigzu or pizu or something like that. It's a mythical creature, right? That has a face of a dragon, body of a lion, and like wings with feathers, right? It's supposed to be like for good fortune and all this other stuff. Anyway, so it's like a chimera, but like Chinese. Anyway,
okay.
But the thing is, like, the funniest thing about the story is that one of the stories about it tells it that it violated the law of heaven because it shat. It literally shat on the floor of heaven, and the Jade Emperor got pissed off, slapped it in the ass so hard that his butthole closed forever.
That'd suck.
and then it told it all it could do now forever is eat gold, jewels, and that's it. It could never shit ever again. No more shitting.
That's got to be painful.
Could you imagine that? Like, out of all of the mythical stories I've ever heard in my life, that is the best one ever. I shat on the floor, and then basically God bitch slapped my ass until I couldn't shit anymore.
Just not shitting for like 2 days hurts. So forever?
Like that MRE shit when you've been out in the field for like 2 weeks?
Yep.
That's real, man.
Drop a turd that looks like Mr. Potato Head. You're like, oh my God, check this out. Look at this.
My shit hurts so bad. God, I hate MRE shits. That was the worst one. Especially when you got that, like, you know that one where it starts with the rabbit, right? The little rabbit turds are coming out the butthole, and then it's like little bloop, 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 and then all of a sudden it's like, boom!
Yeah, the little constipated nuggets, and all of a sudden there's this turd that just drops out, and you're just like, oh.
It's the long one, too. It's not like the little short one. It's that big-ass long one after the little rabbit turds come.
And you're trying not to pinch it off because you want to see the gloriousness. You're like, don't pinch.
My shit is amazing. Look at my shit. It's the best.
And it goes all the way deep down in the toilet hole, and it's just all the way back there.
Right? It's like so bad that it's one of those ones that the brush in just like paints the back of the toilet as it goes down. That's how bad it is. That's an MRE shit. If you've never had an MRE shit in your life, you know exactly what we're talking about.
It's one of those tin wipers.
That's what 2020 is. It is a giant MRE shit.
Yes.
That won't flush. It just clogged the toilet, and now it's stuck there. Because 2020 has no rules.
Your shit comes out with a black hood and a mask on, too.
Right? Antifa in Portland. Fucking those guys. Man, I don't even know where to begin with half of this stuff. So everybody knows at this point that the Kenosha riots started because of... what was his name?
Jacob Blake,
right? 29 was he was shot in the back 7 times by police officers after failing to heed warnings after a failed deployment of tasers. They did everything they could to do this non-lethal, right? Until he went to his car, went under his seat, and he had a knife. And they even say this in the report right here. I gotta pull it up for a second. Shooting. I had it highlighted a second ago. Yeah, he admitted that he had
a
knife, and that they found it on the floor and dropped it. And I get it. I get why most people are upset. Like I've had this conversation. I've seen this conversation thousands of times online on the internet, especially with liberal people and liberal friends and stuff like that, is that it's all police brutality and they're always, shooting black people, and that it's the same as, slavery and whatever else like that. And it's not. It really isn't. It's not comparable to slavery. The dude had a felony warrant for accused, I will say accused because everybody's innocent until proven guilty, for raping a 15-year-old girl. That's who you're defending right now, is somebody that has been accused of that. He had a restraining order for the place that the police were called to by them, took the keys from them, and would not leave. He violated his restraining order because of this. And so it's like, how...
The thing is, the kicker is that the girlfriend called the cops and said he's not supposed to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And he showed up at the house. The cops did what they have to do. They questioned him. Why are you here? You're not supposed to be here. You have a restraining order. They try to say that he was breaking up a fight. I'm like, whatever.
The dude was probably starting the fight. That's probably what happened. The real story.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, for me, it is the most ridiculous thing I've heard so far with them, is that all of this is because of him. And I get it. Like, we can have the conversation at the beginning of this whole thing with George Floyd riots and protests and everything else like that. Everybody was on your side. Everybody was. We said that what happened to George Floyd was wrong. It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have gone down like that, man. And we said maybe we need to have some legislation that gets passed about, police reform and stuff like that. We agreed with you. All of us agreed with you.
Sure did.
And now we're 3 months later, and 32 body bags later, 33 if you count what happened last night in Portland when they executed a dude because he was a Patriot Pair member. That's why he was shot, right? There's no argument of that. This guy was shot because he was part of Patriot Pair. He was part of the Trump rally that was happening in Portland. And the counter-protesters, they hunted him down, they shot him. And that's what everybody keeps saying that... God, why am I forgetting everybody's names today? The kid in Kenosha. Kyle. Yeah. Kyle Rittenhouse. That's right. I couldn't remember for a second. Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't even know how to describe this situation with him, because it was a clear-cut case of self-defense, right? And the media has come out and completely lied their asses off about this. Like, completely.
Hey, this sounds familiar. Didn't they do it with that other kid, the young kid at the
Sandman, Nicholas Sandman? Yeah.
At the rally where the Native American guy came up and got into his face, and they said he was smirking, and he ended up suing CNN for $250 million, and he won.
And then he got paid to do the rally, the RNC rally, and then CNN was showing him at the RNC rally after they already paid him. It's the funniest thing ever.
Exactly.
And
it was great. It was great.
But yeah, the Kyle Rittenhouse story is like, a lot of the lies that are coming in there, especially from what I've seen, is people saying that he shouldn't have been there. Okay, fine. As a parent, no, he shouldn't have fucking been there. 17 years old, fine. Like, that's another conversation I'm going to bring up later about 17 and 18 year olds being sent to war, but you're saying that he shouldn't have been carrying an AR-15 at a riot. It's like, dude, I knew guys that were in boot camp at 17 and deployed by the time they just turned 18. Turned 18 in a war zone. But no, God forbid he carry an AR-15 to a potentially hotbed zone of things that were burning down, because that's exactly what was happening. Because the Kenosha dealership, right? A bit of context here. This dealership the night before was burnt down. 50 plus cars. This dude's whole life work, 40 years, was burned down in a single night.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the only shop he owned. He owned 2 other mechanic places, and the gas station that everybody's seen on the video, I think that also belonged to him. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But the reason why Kyle Rittenhouse was there in the first place was, one, he worked there. He worked in that city. They make it sound like he drove 8 hours or something to go to Wisconsin. No, he lived across you lived in a border town before, right? It's a hop, skip, and a jump to the next state, and it's like 20 minutes away. You're always in the other state. That's right. Exactly how it is. That's how it was. He lived there. He lived in a smaller town. Biggest nearest town to him was Kenosha, which is 20 minutes away across the state border. Fine. But the car dealership owner asked people to help protect his other businesses, which Kyle was a part of. That's why he was there. And the AR-15 he had did not cross state lines because somebody else gave it to him. Now, we could talk about the legality of that, of giving somebody else your gun, but they were there to render aid and protect a business that he was asked to help. Fine.
Well, the legality behind it is that Wisconsin law talks about 17-year-olds or minors owning short barrel rifles. This wasn't a short barrel rifle. This was a long barrel rifle.
Exactly.
So legally, he was allowed to carry it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, is that he was legally allowed to carry it. The rifle didn't cross state lines. He was there because he was asked to be there to help protect the business, right, along with other people. And that's why he was there. And that's the context that we're at now. But the media and these left pundits are saying that he went there to hunt people. He wanted to kill people. He is a white supremacist racist who was just there to hunt innocent folks. Even to the point they were saying that there were black folks were shot. And it's like, no, there was three white guys and they were all felons.
Exactly. And, they don't talk about the fact that this kid was cleaning graffiti off the side of a building.
Yep.
And then he was out there, this bald-headed guy, little Minnie Mouse looking guy. He was talking crap to all these patriots, and he was like, N-bomb this and N-bomb that, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. That's the same guy who was a freaking rapist or a pedophile. They show Kyle running through like a car dealership parking lot. They never showed him shooting the guy. If you look at the video footage, he never shot the guy. The guy was on the ground. They're saying that someone else fired because the guy was hit in the back. So it wasn't the kid that shot that guy, that the bald-headed guy that took one to the dome. Yeah. So he was actually trying to render aid to the guy too. If you watch the video, he was actually trying to help him. And then they was like, oh, he shot him. That's when the kid took off down the street running back towards the cops. He didn't turn around and fire at the people. He could have easily turned around and said, they're chasing me. I'm just going to start smoking people. He never did that. He didn't start shooting until when?
Yeah. So this is what I was going to bring up, is that this is from the court documents. This is from the Daily Wire. They brought it out that McGinnis was the guy that was originally interviewing Kyle at the scene. And from that video, he said that he was there to render aid. He was there to protect the business. That's why he was there. And what happened was that he stated that the first round went through the ground when he shot, and that was because Rosenbaum, the unarmed man that they were talking about in this, which was the guy in the previous video at the gas station who said, shoot me, is using that, dropping that N-bomb as a white dude, like he was in the 90s, that that one guy in the 90s just dropping them N-bombs. Anyway, so this guy chased him, threw things at him. Kyle, in the videos, is trying to run away, right? Get out of harm's way. He's not the aggressor. Rosenbaum goes to grab his rifle. Kyle pulls it away, pulls to present ready, fires at least, I think it's coming out now, it's like 5 shots. But that was after there was already a shot in the air by somebody else, unknown perpetrator, which they haven't even mentioned who that was. Right? Because that guy just disappeared. So he shoots in the air. Rosenbaum goes to grab his gun because he turned around after the shot, grabbed the gun, shot him. He dies. He calls his friend and he said, hey, I just killed somebody. And then people said, hey, basically this motherfucker shot somebody. And so they all started chasing him. And that's where we get to the next segment of this episode of him, not the segment of the episode, but the segment of this story is when he was chased down and knocked down by some other people. And we've already seen most of the memes about that, of the guy with the skateboard. At first I was like, and then I was like, you know, he got fucking smoked.
And boom, he's dead.
Yeah. And so like these people were you could put it like that. They were a lynching mob. They were trying to get this kid to hurt him, to provide bodily injury. They weren't trying to disarm him. They were trying to hurt him. And that's where we are in that story, is that they were there to prevent him from leaving, right? And when you chase somebody down with a rifle, you can't really expect them not to use it. It is self-defense. So it's just the most ridiculous thing in the world to me that people expect them not to defend themselves. So he gets knocked down. He shoots the one guy with a skateboard. And then the second dude who had the Glock, the one that got his arm busted after I think it was because there was two guys. The first two got shot, and yeah, okay, that's what it was. It was the skateboard guy got shot after Rosenbaum. And then the other dude with the Glock, or whatever he had, that pistol in his hand, went to go lunge at him, thought secondly, retreated, but he didn't shoot him the first time, right? So this is one of the key issues here, is that this guy had a gun and he lunged at Kyle, but Kyle didn't shoot him that time. It was only when he came back the second time that Kyle pulled the trigger and shot him in the bicep.
So you saw the video of when he popped the guy in the forearm and he backed off with his pistol. I think it was like a Glock. It looked like a Glock. But then you saw the other guy that was walking up on him too, and he put his hands up really fast. He was like, "Oh shit!"
And I'll bring that video
for one,
up.
They're attacking. You know, let's give them the benefit of doubt.
Yeah,
they didn't know this kid was 17 years old.
Yeah, they didn't.
Okay.
They thought he just shot a guy, which is fine. That's reasonable.
Let's put things into perspective.
Yeah.
So, if you want to put things into perspective, you freaking pussies were chasing a 17-year-old kid down the street in a mob with an AR-15, and you expected him not to shoot you.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
the dumbest thing ever.
You expected him not to do anything but take an ass whipping. There's no fucking way. And this kid's control, like you said earlier, his control was phenomenal.
I've seen people with worse control. I have. Like, you were a drill sergeant. You've seen people with no training at the range in boot camp. Sergeant, I don't know how this goes because you have it on safety, dickwad.
Yeah. And your magazine's in backwards, dumbass. You know, but this kid's control. He was on his back, got kicked in the head. They missed, hit him with a skateboard, and still popped their ass.
And that's what I was going to...
That's a 17-year-old kid. That's a 17-year-old kid that doesn't have the training as us veterans do that are patriots. Imagine if we got out in that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what I think. And here's the video for context. I wanted to bring it up so that you can see the action of what's happening. And I'll turn off disclaimer. Right. So like this is happening in real time with them. He's down. The first guy gets shot. Here comes another one kicking. There's a skateboard. And this is when he gets shot. And he's down. And that was the third guy there that got shot. And it was really quick. It wasn't something that was like all of a sudden it was happening. Like they were chasing him down. So like I don't understand. Like I get people that are upset because apparently people think that Kyle should have been shot by the police because he shot people and they were there. And like even further on in the video, like he runs to the police and tries to turn himself in. It's not like he didn't, bring that up. So here he is in this one, and he's trying to surrender to the police, and they just roll right past him. Like that's it. They just roll right past him.
It's funny how these left-wing nut jobs are talking about the police should arrest him, but then they're screaming defund
They should have
police.
shot him. That's what people are saying, because he wasn't black.
Okay,
They would have shot him.
The police, but you want the police to do their job, is what you're saying.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it makes no sense. If you want to defund the police, if I was a cop, man, and they're talking about defund the police, I'd let them burn, man. Like, seriously, I'd be like, you hate us and you call us ABAC, all cops are bastards, and you want us to die, and you're out here praising cops getting killed. Why should I go over there and protect the people that freaking hate me?
And that's like been the biggest thing, is like the hypocrisy that I've seen with this whole thing, with Kyle's case, is that I can separate the two incidents, right? What happened to Jacob Blake is separate from what happened to Kyle, right? Kyle was there because he was trying to protect a place that he had friends and family there, and that he worked. And there's also been some other asshat has been posting stuff on our page, showing Kyle like beating up a girl, anyway, or something like that. And it's like, okay, fine, he's an asshole.
Got the ban hammer today, though. I was getting pissed off, but I was like, you know what? Cohen and I already discussed this.
It's a free speech zone. You can say whatever the hell you want,
unless you're saying totally hateful shit. But he wasn't. He was just giving his point of view and stuff, and I was. And
that's fine. You know, I don't knock people for doing that.
I know too much.
Anyway, so the point is like he posted that, and I looked at the video. I went on to Reddit and looked at it. Fine. Kyle's an asshole. He hit a chick. Okay. Fine. We can do that. But those are two separate instances. We look at this, and this is what happened. Kyle did that. Same thing with Jacob Blake. Sure. Separate instance. He might have raped a 15-year-old girl. I said accused. I didn't say he did it. It's accused. Fine. He had a restraining order. He violated the restraining order, and that is why he was at the house. That's why the cops were called, and that's why he got shot, is because he resisted arrest. Taser failed, right? They didn't stop him any other way. They asked him to stop. He didn't stop. He went to the car. Then he got shot. It's not like they automatically shot him at the beginning, right?
Yeah. Why didn't he just follow the instructions? Like, look, man, calm down. Let us talk to you. But no, Black Lives Matter and all these other crap has put this mentality in a lot of these anarchists and a lot of these anti-cop people that, you know, they're not going to do shit. They're not going to shoot me because of all the stuff going on. No. If you don't do what the fuck you're being told to do, I'm going home at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same thing.
Home. And if you don't follow instructions, and if you reach in any way, shape, or form in your car, you're getting shot. So just follow instruction. How hard is it? Hey, stop. Calm down. Chill out. Let's talk.
He didn't want to get arrested.
Want to talk because he knew he was a felon. He knew he had warrants, and he didn't want to go back to jail. That's the thing. And the funny thing is that this guy, they put out a GoFundMe for this guy. But a GoFundMe was put out for Kyle, and GoFundMe took it down.
Yep, they did.
You know what I mean? It's just like, so you put out a freaking GoFundMe for a known criminal. I don't care what he did. Oh, wait. Let's go back. So you want to talk about Donald Trump grabbing people by the pussy, saying it. You want to bring that up all the time. You want to bring that up about Donald Trump. But the minute you talk about this guy's past, you can't talk about it. It doesn't matter. Well, why does it matter with Donald Trump, though? Yeah. Why does it matter? And here's another thing, since I'm getting on my political rant. Richard Spencer endorsed Joe Biden.
I know. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
Just throwing it out there, you know, Richard Spencer, Robert Byrd, if he was still alive, he would endorse him. You know, all these freaking white nationalists, KKK members, socialists. But I'm just saying, you know, they hate that they're out to lynch this kid pretty much for defending himself. What, like, did you want him to just to get beat down, his head smashed in, and they take his rifle and shoot him with it? This guy, this grown man, walked up on this kid with a pistol, put his hands up first like he didn't have anything. Try to fool the kid. The kid, you know, he had a slick eye, saw the pistol and shot him in his arm. Again, he didn't double tap that motherfucker. He didn't shoot him again. He shot him one time. One time in the arm, and moved out. So they're trying to compare this kid to like some Columbine shit. I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? This kid didn't just walk in there and just start shooting at protesters. He shot in self-defense, and they'll never admit that shit.
They will not. Anyway, I'm going to take a break here, and then we'll be back in a second, guys. We'll see you on the other side.
Be sure to check out the Facebook page at the Hooch Podcast to follow along with new releases every week, as well as check out our Teespring store where we have awesome apparel, as well as the Hooch Podcast on Anchor FM. You can check it out here, or you can go on Spotify and iTunes, as well as Google Play. Anyway, we'll be back in a second.
And we're back on the other side, guys. To talk about this. Sorry about before. Lost a little bit of video beforehand. So, technical glitch here, because 2020 hates everyone.
That's right.
So, it never fails. It always happens to me. Like, much as I plan and work and do things to make the show, slick, nice, at least semi-nice for amateur and no money.
Just make it great, make it beautiful, and it's going to be great.
Right? Exactly. So one of the things that is really upsetting with this is the fact that Biden keeps, not being like, he wants to be the president, right? But he has yet to say that this stuff has gone too far. All of this has gone too far. The rioting, everything has gone too far. The violence has had enough. We have had enough. Most Americans have had enough of all of this bullshit. It's been 3 months. 3 months of violence.
Biden doesn't want to be president, man. Kamala wants to be president.
Kamala definitely wants to be president, but
Kamala wants to be president.
They keep overlooking that Black Lives Matter started under Obama Biden, right? Mm-hmm. Ferguson was the original Black Lives Matter movement.
It started with Occupy Wall Street. That's where Black Lives Matter originated from.
And it's grown from them. So like, and my question is, and that was what? It was 2011 when Ferguson.
I have no idea.
I don't remember when Ferguson happened.
I forgot Obama was president for a little while, but
okay, so it's been a while. He at least had 4 years of his presidency that he could have addressed police violence and Black lives, right? It started under his watch. A black president, a Democrat black president, did nothing, including Biden, did nothing to help the black community stop police violence.
Especially the first 2 years of his presidency, right? Yeah. He had the House and a Senate. He could have passed anything he wanted. Police reform, freaking all this other Marxist ideologies the media loved that they're trying to push now. He could have did it all.
He could have done everything. The media loved him. Yep. The media absolutely loved Obama. He could have had anything under the sun, and the media would have let him do it. And they did a lot of times. I mean, he bombed a shit ton of people. He toppled multiple governments that we got involved in and didn't ask Congress for a single fucking thing in terms of war powers. Not a single goddamn thing.
Say it louder.
Not a single thing.
And how many wars did he supposedly start? 7?
2 at least.
It was a lot.
Libya and Syria and some other stuff.
But think about how many wars did Trump start?
He didn't start fucking dick.
Zero. Right? Zero.
I mean, okay, if you want to say he started some shit, he just killed a dude that was already in Iraq at the time. Like he wasn't even supposed to be there.
He killed that whatever
Soleimani, man.
Durka Muhammad Ali Jihad motherfucker.
Yeah, he killed Soleimani. I mean, I'll give Obama face for this. He got Bin Laden. Fine.
No, he didn't.
I'll give him that. He was in charge at the time. I'm just saying. The Navy SEALs got it, but I'm just saying he was in charge at the time. Fine, I'll give him that. But at the same time, he did nothing for the black community. He did nothing for Black lives. Right. He could have done everything in his power under his presidency to push that agenda because the media was behind him. The Democrats were behind him. Most people were behind him, but he did fucking nothing for you.
And here's, my biggest problem with this whole Black Lives movement and oppression, and the white man has been trying to keep us down for centuries.
Yeah.
Didn't at one point black people have a Black Wall Street? So how did they, and even though it was
but that went really bad.
But how did they start it?
Yeah,
during that time,
it was really difficult.
It wasn't that freaking bad for them to even be able to start something like that.
It wasn't at the beginning, but it turned out really bad.
And from both sides, and I think it was more politically based. I think the Democratic Party, that was their way of, mind control and everything. Let's burn this place down and blame it on whatever, But how did they even start something like that? I don't understand.
And it's not the 1920s anymore, man. Like I get that. You're building Black Wall Street, and it's awful what happened. I mean, I living here in Tulsa and like finding out that history and learning about it more, it's awful. I denounce it. It's absolutely disgusting as a piece of history for America. I think it's disgusting, and it should be to everybody. It's the same thing when you think about burning other people's businesses during riots. It's the same fucking thing. If people are being hunted down in the streets, like what happened in Portland
with that old man.
With the old man talking about the Chaz in Portland as well, with the 19-year-old and the 16-year-old that were shot in the Chaz because they took over 6 blocks. They occupied 6 blocks, armed, by the way, not just like they were protesting and did a sit-in and like Occupy Wall Street. They were fucking armed and took over 6 blocks, shot people, killed people, and the left still defends them. They still defend them.
What is the definition of that? Domestic
terrorism. It is absolutely terrorism, and this is what we're seeing with them. It is not about black lives anymore, especially with when they were doing this to this lady here. And if you look at the picture, they're all white. They're all white.
So they're not throwing up the black power fist. They're throwing up the communist fist.
Yeah, it's the communism.
The Marxist fist.
It's the Marxist fist, man.
Yep, Marxist.
It is the people power, and it's a disguise for people to have authoritarian regimes on the leftist side. Everybody keeps saying that Donald Trump is a fascist, but he's not the one. He's literally not the one forcing people to obey and force control and intimidation to vote a certain way, to think a certain way. That is fascism. That is what you were asking for. And this identitarian bullshit that they keep preaching about, like you know that they're going to repeal the racial discrimination law in California to make it easier to discriminate against white and Asians in schools, because Asians have better scores and so do white people have better chances. So in order to make it equal, we have to discriminate based on race, which is a complete regression from what we started as. We don't want this kind of nonsense. None of us do.
So they're pretty much saying that black people are too dumb, that we need their help in order to make it in life.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The left is. Come on. The left are.
There's some super educated black people out there, super smart doctors, lawyers, freaking brain surgeons. There is this brain surgeon. His name is Ben Carson and stuff. Super educated, and they're pretty much saying that. Asians and whites, they're pretty much smarter.
They have an unfair advantage over everyone else
to make it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's bullshit. We all know that's bullshit. Everybody has their advantages and disadvantages, and that has. If you want to make it about class, fine. I'm totally there with you. I grew up in a poor fucking redneck area in Arkansas. I understand what white poor is. Okay, like the same thing with the voter ID thing, and with the left saying that black people are too poor and too stupid to figure out how to use the internet to get IDs. How is that not racist? I've always asked that question.
So you're saying all these black people, and not all of them, these black people out there to get their Social Security checks, their government assistance checks. How do they cash those checks? You
have to have ID. There's not a single place in the United States where you don't need your ID for something.
Everyone has IDs. If they talk about poor black people, let's talk about the ones that are getting arrested. How do they know who the hell they are?
Because they have IDs.
You have to have some type of identification to identify yourself. Does. So this whole premise that black people are too dumb to go down to the local freaking post office and get a $5 ID is a slap in the face to black people.
I mean, if you want to make it about a poor thing, then fine. And say some people are too poor to afford IDs. Okay, then let's address the problem of people being able to afford identification. Fine. I'm with you on that one. But to say it's based on race is nonsense.
Well, let's do it the same as we do with government assistance. If they're on government assistance, they should automatically be able to qualify for a free ID. So when you walk into the Social Security office to sign up for your government assistance, the first thing they should issue you, which they probably do, is a what?
An ID.
A state ID.
State ID, yeah. And they should.
ID.
And that's just way the cookie crumbles. But the biggest thing with what happened in Portland, especially with them, and Andy No actually brought this up with them, and when he was reporting it with this homicide, is that in the video you can see I'm not going to bring it up.
Hunting him down.
They were hunting him down. It wasn't self-defense.
Yep.
Not in the least bit. And that's the difference between Kyle's case and the shooting in Portland, is they were literally looking for somebody to shoot. I think I brought this up here. Well, screw you.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, this guy. I'll bring it up. Apparently, my
did you pull up his Instagram feed too? He talks about a lot of crazy. He was a snowboard instructor, and he's 100% down on Antifa. And you can tell by his comment right here.
Hey, Michael, can you read that for them?
So every revolution needs people that are willing and ready to fight. There are so many of us protesters that are just protesting without a clue where that will lead. And my screen just blacked. and that's just the beginning. That's where we fight and skip. Let's get down to the meat and butter. But it will be a fight like no other. It will be a war. And like all wars, there will be, can't see it, but he's just pretty much calling for an open revolution, a civil war.
Yep.
And he said there's going to be pretty much casualties and all this stuff, and he stands for the common good, and he stands for all people, but yet he's talking about killing people. So if he stands for all people, he just killed a guy in cold blood.
Yeah, that's the difference between a mass shooter and an actual defense case of self-defense. Exactly. Is that Kyle was there to clean the community and defend a business. This guy was there to literally cause harm and to commit violence. And that's the same thing that's happening with all of these riots, is these people from Antifa drove from Portland to Kenosha in order to cause violence, to cause mayhem. Yep. And that's the difference between all of these things, is people are taking advantage of the situation to do whatever the hell they want, to burn everything. And who
paid for them to go from the West Coast to the Midwest anyway?
I know, right? I wonder that too. It's a conspiracy on a different level. The people are using these useful idiots to commit crimes in order to make people afraid, but it's backfiring on the Democrats. It really is.
Yeah,
because
it is. Well,
Ted Wheeler,
and now Joe Biden denouncing it.
They're not, though.
Hey, the violence needs to stop, because they realize that it's killing the platform.
Don Lemon even said
Democrats out there, they're like, this is freaking insane.
Yeah, it's and the biggest thing, that's the funniest thing that's happened, is Ted Wheeler, the mayor of Portland. Donald Trump sent a letter saying that he was ready and willing to send federal assistance to Portland to help them end the unrest. Ted Wheeler said, "Fuck you," in a letter. And then the next day, his complete condo building was occupied by mostly peaceful protesters, attacking people, wouldn't allow other people inside, shining lights into the buildings and asking for his resignation. I think he should resign too, but for other reasons.
Yeah, same here. And it's funny, I retweeted his ass and I said, I just hope freaking Portland burns.
It's the most insane, nonsensical thing in the world to me, that in 2020, with already the amount of shit that we're dealing with the pandemic and everything, it has just turned into a dumpster fire of mega proportions. Same thing that's happening in California right now with the fires that have happened, and then the hurricane, and then just all the other things. It's like the world is just like, fuck it, I gave up. I'm done.
It's going to be that shot heard across the world, man. And I think last night when that guy got shot, I think that Antifa bit off more than they can fucking chew.
Because now the left can't say that Antifa is nonviolent and they've never killed anyone.
Exactly. And their day is coming, man. So there's going to be another rally in Portland, and bullets will be flying, and the cops are going to back the hell off.
It's been 90 days. It's been 3 months of violence in the United States from all of these things. And it's like, what are you even doing anymore? Like, what is this even about? I don't even know. Does anybody else know?
It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, man. It's a Marxist fucking movement. That's their goal. They want Marxism. If Rand Paul, a guy like Rand Paul, Can't even go to the RNC. You can see in Rand Paul's face when he's walking out of the convention, the panic in his face. One of the cops turns around, he yells at somebody, and Rand Paul kind of turns to him, taps him on the back, says something to him, and Rand Paul's starting to scurry away. Yeah. You know, if the cops weren't there, they probably literally would have killed Rand Paul. And you know what I mean? So, I mean, people can't even go and enjoy convention. When have conservatives ever done that? When have we ever gone to any DNC convention and threatened people coming out?
Yeah. When have they gone to your homes and occupied your apartment?
We don't do that. Yeah. But these crazy leftists, man, they think because you come to my home that somehow I'm going to change my ways and I'm intimidated. Do what you got to do. Your life is your life. And then they throw out the term. So you think things are more important than a human life? Yes, I do. And if you try to threaten the things that I care about, whether it be my car, my house, you know, anything, I'm going to end your ass.
That's the thing is, like, that is my life. My stuff is my life. Yes. Like, if you build something up for 40 years, like a car dealership, for instance, that is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and effort and equity that you put in there. That is your life. Right? You put all of your life into that. And if somebody takes that away from you and burns it down in a single night and takes that away from you, how is that not a terrible thing to do? And that's the same thing with Rand Paul, like we were talking about. I wanted to bring up his video here, and what actually happened is the whole say her name.
Yeah. Why? Does it matter if I say her name or not?
But that's the funniest thing in the world, is because he is the author of the Justice for Breonna Taylor Act, because it happened in Kentucky. He's the guy that is
libertarian at that.
I know, and it is the most insane thing in the world that the guy that is running, trying to put forward a piece of legislation that would end no-knock raids, because they're awful. Like this is police reform. This is what you're asking for, and you're attacking the guy that is actually trying to end it.
Because they don't know what he stands for. They just saw a face and they recognized him. They were like, "Oh, he's a Trump supporter," but they're not actually.
Look at that conservative asshole.
Yeah, they're not looking at what he's trying to pass. They're not looking at anything about him. Just like they don't do with their own candidates. They don't care what Kamala Harris did to black people back in the 90s. They don't care what Joe Biden said about black people back in the 80s when he dropped the N-bomb hard N with the ER at the end of it in front of
the ERs. The ERs.
You know, they don't care about that. They don't care about the facts. They give Joe Biden and Kamala Harris a pass. But again, they will bring up Donald Trump wanting to grab somebody by the pussy. It's insane to me.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I mean, I would rather have the guy that would grab some pussy than the guy that doesn't want his kids to grow up in a racial jungle. Just saying.
Or the chick that threw people in jail for smoking weed, minor drug offenses, but she was talking about smoking weed on the Breakfast Club and listening to Snoop Dogg and Tupac when Tupac and Snoop Dogg weren't even around when she was in fucking college. You know what I mean? And they believe these motherfuckers. Just like they believe fucking Hillary Clinton when she talked about, what do you carry in your purse? Oh, hot sauce. Really, bitch? Really? Who the fuck? I don't know any black person for real that carries hot sauce in their purse or their bag. I don't know. Most restaurants you go to, what do you can get? Hey, can I get some hot sauce? Yeah, we got
ketchup,
hot sauce.
Mustard, hot sauce.
So, Kamala Harris is pandering. Hillary Clinton was pandering. Joe Biden is pandering. Old corn pop. And they buy into it because they hate Trump so much. And then when you ask them why they hate Trump, they can't really tell you why. His rhetoric. Well, that's a blanket statement.
He's too harsh. He's too harsh.
His tweets.
His tweets.
Okay, what about his tweets? Well,
Donald Trump's an asshole. Yeah. Okay, fine. He's an asshole.
I want you to tell me. Here's what I have to say to our leftist viewers out there. I want you to give me hard evidence of Donald Trump being a racist. Something. I want proof, hard evidence, video, audio, something that says Donald Trump is a racist. You're not going to find it. You're not. Donald Trump used to date a black girl. I mean, come on, man. I mean, if he's a racist,
that's always like the funniest thing in the world is like, can you be a racist and like be in a mixed relationship?
No, you can't, because you think the other race is inferior to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's no way you can.
They'll always bring up, well, there was the white owners and the slave girls.
They still didn't care about them. They only used them for breeding. Sexual gratification. So it's not like they gave a shit, because they would kill them just as fast as they would kill.
Wasn't it Thomas Jefferson that actually had the black family
Yes.
on the back end. So like
Yeah.
he's got
Did he
tons
care?
of
No, he never
ancestors
claimed
now.
them.
Yeah.
And most of them never claimed they're mixed babies. I mean, there was some.
I think he did though. He was actually, I think, in love with the lady that he was with. But anyway, that's historical records back in the past. I which is funny because I want to bring up DNC before we actually close this out. The DNC thing with them bringing up Elizabeth Warren as the representative of the Native American caucus.
And here's the thing. These dumbass liberals still fall for that shit.
Oh my God.
When they already checked her ancestry, they said she was 0.00001%
Right.
Native American or something, and they still buy into it.
I know.
This is how you know, like leftists. That's a mental disorder, man. Liberalism is true mental disorder. It is. It is 100%, and they prove it to us every day. They were like, "Oh, you support the orange man." I was like, "Is that the best you guys got?" "Oh, you're a Trump tard." Okay, good one.
Trump tard.
You really got me there, buddy. You trumpets. Oh yeah, cool.
Trumpets.
Cool comeback, man.
I know, right?
Good job.
So the funniest thing ever that I wanted to bring up, so like hers was like that 1.1001%, and I have mine that I wanted to bring up. If she's considered a Native American, then I am considered black with my 1%. Mm-hmm. I am totally African American, even though I'm like basically 60% like English. Like I'm Irish, English, whatever you want to call me.
It's the one drop rule. Remember? That's what most black people will tell you. You know, my family talks about my mixed son, and they were like, "Oh, Mike, the one drop rule, though." And they say the same thing about Obama. Oh, the one drop rule. So if my buddy Coy has 1% black African descent,
that's one drop, right?
That is one drop. It's a drop. What is a drop? It's a drop. So is he considered black? Well, no, look at him. No, but you just said the one drop rule.
I am white as they get, man. Like I can't get any whiter than this. I mean, I probably could, but I would be translucent and I would be a ghost.
I'll support you trying to ask for reparations. I'll tell you that right now.
But that's the question of like when people bring up reparations is like, according to my DNA test, I probably had an ancestor who was a slave. Because of the timeline of where it would have been at. It would have been in the 1600s to the 1700s. That's when my ancestor was. So therefore, I have an ancestor who was a slave. Does that mean I get reparations? Probably not.
Based off their logic. No,
based off their logic, yes. But most people would say no because you're white. Look at you. You're white. So does the Nigerian who just came over here for like 30, 50 years ago, does he get reparations?
No.
Yeah. But he's black.
Yeah,
he's black. They should be.
I'm just tired, man. Actually, truthfully, let's just get it over with, man. If these Marxists and these communists and socialists want a civil war, let's just do it. Let's get it over with. Let's finish it, and then winner takes all.
I don't know.
And after you lose, you can never talk about socialism or communism or Marxism again. If I was the president of the United States getting reelected, I would outlaw talk about communism, Marxism, and socialism in America.
But that's a violation.
Act of treason.
I wouldn't actually do that far because that's a violation of the First Amendment. It's also a violation of our principles and values as Americans. I err on the side of freedom. I think if you're going to say some shit, fine. That's fine. But don't expect me to believe everything that you believe. That's what it comes down to.
Let me change it up. If you try to overthrow a government based off your ideology,
that's illegal.
Which they're trying to do. That should be deemed treasonous.
You've done this. You did 20 years, right, in the military. Every time you had to renew your security clearance, what was that one question they always asked? They always asked it on that form. Have you ever thought about throwing? Have you ever
talked to a foreign government or a foreign entity, something like that?
Well, besides those, I'm talking about the specific one where it says, "Have you ever thought about overthrowing the U.S. government?"
Oh yeah, yep.
That one. That one question. Obviously, everybody says no, but if you are Antifa or any of these other freaks out there, they literally want that. That's exactly what they want. They want to overthrow the U.S. as a whole. They want to overthrow the institution because they believe it is inherently evil and racist, and it cannot coexist under the same sky as everyone else.
Yep.
That's what they believe.
Hey, here's what I hope for. I hope they come out with a COVID freaking vaccine, and then all these Antifa, socialists, Marxist, communists get it, and there's a kill switch. And then
that is some like sci-fi movie shit right there. But I mean,
and they all just drop. That'd
it's
be
true
great.
though. One of the reasons I really wanted to do the episode today is just I've been kind of like stewing. I've been like reading a bunch lately. I've been trying to stay off social media because every time I get on there, I'm just pissed off. There's tons of like comments and threads that I want to like reply to, but I go, it's not worth it. Woosah, stop. Just let it go.
So
and I
you
have
gotta
to
get
stop
off
myself.
Facebook and jump to TikTok.
Yeah,
It's a more
just
positive
insane.
platform per se, and you control what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Facebook, it doesn't just pop up in your feed. You can be like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. I don't know where we go from here. I hope that it doesn't get any worse, but it already is. It's already getting worse. People are getting shot in the streets now. Like armed conflict is coming because of all the things that are happening. There's no other where for it to go. And it saddens me. This isn't the country that I wanted. I don't want my kids to grow up in this kind of country that would do that. And everybody feels the same way. Everybody's choosing their sides. Everybody has their tribe. And it's so ingrained now, there's nothing we can do about it.
And for every action, there is a reaction. So,
yeah,
most conservatives were pretty chill, man. We're pretty chill. But, the minute you got to stop poking the bear. And I've said this before. You keep poking the bear, man, they're going to start reacting.
Ammo is off the shelves, man. Like you go to a gun store now, trying to find any sort of ammo is impossible, right? Like,
oh, man.
You can't get anything. Like if there's like 5.56 somewhere, they're gonna sell you like one box. That's it. Here's like 30 rounds. You can't have any more. We don't have enough.
Good
we have to sell to other
I know people that can do their own ammo.
Buy reloading supplies. That's what you should do. Go out and to your local store and buy reloading supplies. You should make your own ammo. That's what you should be really doing. But anyway, I think we'll leave it at that for this episode. Like I said, I'm disheartened. I hate where everything is, and I hope things will change. I don't hate people. I really don't. Like I like being friends with everybody under the sun. I can accept you for who you are, and we can have disagreements, but like just don't be an asshole. That's it. Just don't be an asshole.
That's true.
That's all I want. Just don't be an asshole. Anyway, Michael, go ahead and take us out.
So make sure you guys follow the Hooch podcast as always. Here come my hiccups. And also make sure you follow me on the TikTok, the Bro Kitchen Guy.
Yeah.
Moving on up in the world. Make sure you follow the Grizzle Grunt. And just keep showing us love, man. Share a podcast, share a live feed, share videos. And we love you guys.
Yeah. Anyway, definitely check out the Facebook page. We always put up pretty awesome memes or some other kind of funny shenanigans there. Check out his stuff on TikTok. He does a lot of funny stuff. He's going up there. I'm a homebuddy and I read all the time because I can't stand the world anymore. I'm sad. I'm a very sad man. Anyway, definitely check out our stuff. Keep appreciating all of you guys. Anyway, we love you guys. We'll see you next time. And
we're out.
We're out.
According to your Facebook page, we aren't friends.